Good afternoon. We are interrupting regular programming. We're taking you inside Fenway Park, and you can see right there Governor Baker just signed a declaration because he announced earlier sports are back in play. Let's hear the details. He already said fans for this first round are not going to be involved in the games. We're going to hear from Sam Kennedy, President and CEO, as well. Let's listen.
Sam, your yard looks pretty good. And we appreciate that, and we're looking forward to seeing people on it. I want to thank you, of course, for hosting today, and I want to thank Mayor Walsh for all the work that he and his team have done to work with us on so many issues involving both the economy and the coronavirus over the course of the past 115 days or so. And I want to thank Lieutenant Governor Polito for all the work that she's done with respect to our reopening agenda, which brings us a little bit to why we're here at Fenway. These last few months have obviously brought everybody a lot of uncertainty, confusion, and anxiety. And for a lot of people, that day-to-day, believe it or not, include watching a lot of baseball games between the Red Sox and the Yankees and the Rays and the Cardinals and a whole bunch of other teams where you knew what was going to happen and who was going to win, which of course takes a big piece of the fun out of the whole experience. But since the pandemic began, the opportunity we've had to watch live sports, to watch a game where we don't know who's going to win in the end, has been one of those things I know so many of us have missed. And we have an order now in place which will authorize Phase 3 of our reopening plan to start on Monday. And that order will allow any professional sports team that's adopted COVID-19 health and safety precautions under league rules to hold games without spectators here in Massachusetts. That applies to the Red Sox, the Bruins, the Celtics, and the Patriots. It applies to the Revs too, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. Who wrote this speech? The draconian measures that in many cases we've had to put in place to successfully stop the spread of this disease were some of the hardest decisions we've had to make since we took office. We're glad we could allow for spring training summer camp, and that started just recently, and we're even more glad to be able to resume some regular season games later this month. I don't have to tell anybody here or anyone watching at home just what sports generally and baseball in particular means to the people of this city and this state. The Red Sox have always been part of our community. The sport, the ballpark, the team are part of what makes Boston and Massachusetts special. The Red Sox know better than anybody what it's like to be resilient. And any Red Sox fan knows what it's like to be patient. We've been down for the count in many cases in the past. We've been in series where people didn't think we had a chance to come back. And one way or another, in many cases, the Red Sox found a way, and their fans were still in the stands, the TV was still on at home, waiting and watching and expecting and hoping that they would find a way to get it done, and they did. Like a lot of things that have changed in the wake of COVID-19, this season will obviously look a lot different. But we're thrilled and excited and honored to welcome the Boston Red Sox back to the field. We know, as always, that this team will make the city proud. And we also know that while we won't be here in person, we can all root and cheer with appropriate social distancing and masks if you can't stay 6 feet apart, wherever they might be, watching on TV. And as we get ready to celebrate the 4th of July this weekend, I can't think of a better way to kick that off than by celebrating America's favorite pastime here at Fenway Park. And we look forward to watching opening day later this month, and we're looking forward to a great, short season. With that, I want to turn it over to Mayor Marty Walsh.
Thank you very much, Governor, and Lieutenant Governor Polito and Sam Kennedy from the Red Sox. It's certainly great to be back here at Fenway Park. We've been looking forward to this day for a long time. Getting to this point that we can bring baseball back safely is a testament to how hard we've worked as a community. It's a testament to our first responders, the essential workers, and everyone who helped us confront this incredible challenge. Over the past several months, I've been seeing, and I know the governor can say the same, and Lieutenant Governor, seeing people step up and do so many right things. I see wonderful acts of generosity and kindness throughout the city and the Commonwealth. I've seen people of all ages showing what it means to be Boston strong. Ever since this pandemic has begun, I've been in close contact and talking to Sam Kennedy here from the Red Sox. I want to thank them for their support to our efforts and helping the most vulnerable people. And the city supports them as they plan to get this season underway, and as they work to make sure as they keep their players healthy and safe during that time, and their coaches, the staff, and the entire Boston community. There is no doubt that this will be a historic season. We're certainly not back to normal, but welcoming the Red Sox back to Fenway Park and being able to watch a live sports again is a big win for Boston and for a lot of us. And I know I can't speak for everyone, but I'm pretty, as the governor mentioned, I've watched the 04 series several times, the 07 series several times, 13, and the Bruins and the Celtics and the Patriots, and I love watching those old sports, but it's about time we get back to real sports. I know that playing baseball again is going to mean a lot for longtime fans. It certainly is going to mean a lot for our kids in our neighborhoods. And I want to thank the entire Red Sox organization for giving the people of Boston something to root for. 2020 has tested our city in ways it's never been tested before. It requires all of us to be stronger, more patient, and more resilient. Our city has shown its true colors. Quiet streets, canceled events, and an empty ballpark certainly broke many of our hearts. But in Boston, nothing is more important than protecting one another. And nothing, not even a global pandemic, can take away who we are and what we stand for. That's what we mean by when we say Boston Strong. Like Big Papi said in 2013, this is our city. He said it in a more eloquent way. Nothing can keep Boston down for long. When we get through this, and we will, we'll have a new appreciation for all the things that makes this great city on earth, including Fenway Park, something that we will never take for granted. When I look back on 2020, the thing I'll remember the most is how our city came together and worked towards a greater good. I sincerely thank the Red Sox and all the fans and the entire Boston community in Massachusetts for showing us every day what a strong city and what a strong Commonwealth looks like. With that, I'm going to bring Sam Kennedy to the microphone, the president of the Boston Red Sox.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Great job. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of all my teammates here at Fenway Park, Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, Mayor Walsh, we are all thrilled to welcome you here to Fenway today. It is only because of your leadership throughout the Commonwealth and our city that we are now able to safely open Fenway to our players and our staff for the resumption of training and later this month for the 2020 baseball season. More than entertainment, we hope that our games will provide a small escape at a time when it is most needed. We hope that we can help establish a sense of normalcy for our fans and for our entire community. Fenway Park has long been a place of great joy, excitement, as well as heartbreak. But most importantly, as the mayor said, it has been a place of healing during troubling times for our city and for our region. We are incredibly grateful to have strong leaders in our city and our Commonwealth who have been and continue to be true partners as we navigate this very difficult period. In addition to baseball returning to Fenway, we also eagerly anticipate both football and soccer returning to Gillette Stadium, and basketball and hockey to the Garden, and the PGA Tour returning to Norton, Massachusetts later in August. So on behalf of all of my colleagues here at Fenway and all of my colleagues across the sports industry in Boston and New England, we say a huge thank you to Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, and to Mayor Walsh. Thank you for your guidance and for your continued strong leadership that has made this day possible. Thank you very much. Question Z, is that the next? All right.
Thank you. I got a couple of quick questions. Mayor Walsh first. How are you feeling about the move to Phase 3 for the city of Boston?
You know, I think that all of the information, all the data that we're looking at right now is all going in the right direction. We work very closely. I work very closely with the governor, lieutenant governor. Our teams work very closely together, and I think we're monitoring it. Certainly, we're in a strong position right now, but I think that we've all acknowledged that if we see something going higher, we'll take the appropriate action. The governor's made that statement. I've made that statement. Other mayors around the Commonwealth, and I just think that the thing that separates us from other places around the country is that as states and cities shut down and as they reopened, while they were shut down, they weren't enforcing masks. They weren't enforcing certain curfews. They weren't enforcing some other things. And for the most part, we see here in Massachusetts people wearing masks, and that's having a very positive impact on keeping the rates down right now. And we want people to, as I've said in every press conference I've had, and the governor, lieutenant governor, it's about wearing a face mask. It's about making sure you wash your hands. It's about making sure you clean down surfaces. I told a story at my press conference today of a barber shop or a hair salon in Missouri, where two of the folks that work in there have tested positive for COVID-19. They both had over 140 clients come in and get their hair cut. Not one of those clients tested positive. Why? Because they were wearing face coverings, they were wearing gloves, and the folks that came in, the same thing. If we do that, we can keep the numbers down. And phase 3 really depends upon all of us being very, very responsible.
Thank you. And Sam, something that does concern me, I don't know if it's been addressed much. If a player tests positive, they have to immediately be quarantined, and so does everybody they've come in contact with, which would ostensibly be the entire team. What happens in that situation?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Thanks to Major League Baseball and the Players Association, we have about a 120-page document that has a set of health and safety protocols. And so we have contact tracing that is happening right now. We've been trained in that, and we will engage in even more frequent and rapid testing on a daily basis after a positive test is found. But the intake process, which is happening right now as we begin spring training or summer camp, as we're calling it, tomorrow, very wisely, I think, has a 48-hour period where our folks, including us in the front office, are being tested. We have a 48-hour window, and then once we're cleared, we can be in the same vicinity inside the park. But to be very clear, there are all sorts of protocols, including masks, including social distancing, including washing our hands, general hygiene, that will take place over the course of the season. It doesn't come without risk, but we are confident that we'll be able to pull it off and deliver a very unique baseball season for our fans.
Thank you.
Governor Baker. I know you didn't make the cut for a Red Sox mask, but maybe next year, next season.
Got it. It was just inside.
Oh, okay.
Do I have it inside out? Oh, geez. Okay.
That's all right. That's all right.
Still getting the hang of this.
Could you tell us what will it take to bring fans back into the stands? Would that require a vaccine and antibody testing?
Well, I hesitate to speculate about stuff that gets too far down the road because in many cases we continue to learn about coronavirus over time. And I've said this before, you know, if you go back to March 10th, that was only 115 days ago. The amount of things we've learned about coronavirus between March 10th and today, or the number of things we learned between, say, January 20th and April 20th, because this is a new virus, there's a constantly changing and growing set of facts and experiences about it that drive a lot of the decision making that takes place. And I think from where I sit, I generally speaking try to say we're making the best decisions we can based on the best data that's available from the experts that we talk to at this point in time. And when it comes to something like fans, especially when it comes to larger venues like this, I just hesitate to take a position one way or another because I do know that for today, the answer to that question, based on what we're hearing from the public health folks and others, is no. But if you were to ask me what the answer to that question would be, 3 months from now, I think it would depend a lot on the facts on the ground, the experiences, the data collection, and everything else. And it might mean the same answer, and it might not. But I hesitate to give an answer to a question that gets that far down the road because there's been so much that we've learned and frankly, so many things that have changed about what we would call the state of wisdom with respect to coronavirus just in the last 100 days.
And one quickly for Mr. Kennedy. Sam, have all the players been tested, and do you have any positive tests at this point?
Yeah, so the question was, have the players been tested and have you had any positive tests? Yes, the players have been tested. Not every single one yet. We're finalizing the intake. We're not going to be releasing data as a club just yet. Major League Baseball is handling all of the testing, all of the data collection, and they plan to release data in the very, very near future. So we'll follow MLB's lead. They've taken over this process, which has been good for the industry to make sure that we are all following the same health and safety protocols. And I think that data and its release will be important to get a sense of how we're doing. And the only way we're going to get through a Major League Baseball season or a return to hockey or return to basketball is with effective testing, contact tracing, and the players and all of us and staff and management following those protocols.
And quickly, would you say the players are nervous about this, or are they anxious to hear the crack of the bat and the snap of the glove?
It's a great question. I'm sure everyone has some anxiety at some level about a return to play, but from my conversations with our guys, they are so excited to get going. You know, you don't get into professional sports or work in professional sports unless you have an absolute passion and love for the game. And the hardest part, I think, for all of us, all of you, has been that we can't be together in person. It's been painful. So this has been amazing to see Jackie Bradley Jr. and J.D. Martinez and Xander Bogaerts coming back together and getting to be reunited. We haven't seen each other since March 12th down in spring training. So it's been a bit of a homecoming week, and guys are really excited to get going.
Mr. Kennedy, while you're still up there, this is a question about media coverage for the Red Sox starting the opening day. You may have been watching the PGA Tour. They don't allow any media, local media, to attend, to get on the premises at all. So what's the game plan for local access for media, national access for media, and of course TV?
Yeah, we will have media access available here. Of course, Kevin Gregg and his team and Zenib Curran and her team will have their work cut out for them because there will be very strict health and safety protocols that will be followed. But there will be media coverage. Of course, our games will be on radio and television, streaming digitally, so the general public will be able to enjoy Red Sox baseball, but there will be media access and availability.
Who would have access for media? Do you pick them from written press?
Yeah, we'll pick them in concert with Major League Baseball because we will have limits on a game-by-game basis.
And Sam, have you picked a second location for your summer camp? Is it all going to be here or one of the colleges?
Yeah, thanks to Father Leahy and Coach Mike Gambino up at Boston College, we will be staging some of our summer camp up at BC. And we're very grateful for that opportunity.